Good evening. The stage is set for Tottenham Hotspur. There's nowhere left to hide. This is it, the final stretch, the moments that define the season. Careers, legacies. Weeks ago, this club was drifting, questions everywhere, belief hanging by a thread. Tequila asking, why do I support this club? Dermo looking for Saki Dermo, somewhere in the back of the cupboard. But now, it's all about stepping up where it matters most. Every game from here on out is a final. No second chances, no excuses. The fans have suffered enough. Yes, we have. They've waited, they demanded more, and rightly so. Because this football club, this badge is supposed to stand for ambition, for fight, for pride. And yet, too often this season, we have seen fragility instead of fire. But there is a truth, redemption is still here. It is right in front of them. One run, one push, one statement to the league that Tottenham are not done yet. The question is simple. When the pressure hits, when the noise gets louder, when everything is on the line, will Spurs finally rise or will they fall apart again? Good evening and welcome to THFC To Be Die, home of Tottenham past, present, and the exciting future under the mighty cockerel. And yes, tonight we are talking about the running against us, against West Ham, against Leeds, against Nottingham Forest. And yes, he's come into the Lions Den. He's come into the Lions Den tonight. But before I get to him, we're sitting in front of the old bowling ground, which I do miss, by the way. A great away. It's a great stadium to go for an away fan as a Tottenham. I will introduce my co-host, the man that should be in charge of Tottenham Hotspur, Daniel Levy's arch nemesis. It is Tequila, a.k.a. Simon Jordan. How are you tonight, Tequila?
Not sure I can live up to that big introduction, don't I? Daniel Levy's arch nemesis. He doesn't even know who I am. He'd walk past me in the street and not know. I'd walk past on the street and probably try to throttle him. No, I wouldn't. No, I would actually. But how are you, Dermo? How are you?
I'm all right, bud. I'm all right. And joining us, of course, is the legend himself, Tony. Of course, the only West Ham fan I truly like and respect. How are you, bud, this evening? And hello to all you West Ham fans watching. Good evening. I won't mention about being kids blowing bubbles and trying to find your Barney the dinosaurs, but good evening, everybody. How are you, Tony? How are you this evening,
good, mate. And as always, thanks for the invite onto the show and that. And obviously, people in the chat, this is a dual stream. Yes, Dermot is hosting this. So, yes, as you heard, cheesiness at its very finest for the intro. They moan about my intro music. I think you've outdone me for the length of time that it goes on, Dermot. So, fair play on that one. And good evening to everyone. Hope everyone's well.
Yeah. Can I just say that is the best Tottenham intro on YouTube? There's no better than that. That is sung by a very old column. Tequila is Quincy Jones. He did do the music to it, didn't you, Tequila?
And the backing vocals, but don't tell him that.
And the backing vocals. Anyone doesn't know Quincy Jones that is younger than us three, just go. What was Michael Jackson's The Wall album? What was it called?
That's it, The Wall. Was it The Wall?
No, it was the one with Thriller on it back in the day.
Oh, that was it.
Well, Black and no, there was Thriller on. Okay, it's before Black and White. Okay,
it might be a bit before your time, Tequila.
It's Bad, isn't it? Isn't it the Bad album?
No, that wasn't on Bad.
No, what was it? It was Off the Wall. That was it, Off the Wall.
Okay.
Off the Wall. And he actually did David Bowie's Let Dance album as well, Quincy Jones. That's a great album. Sorry. Yeah, I'm showing me age now. Early Michael Jackson. But I love Bowie. I'm massive Bowie head. Love Bowie. But yeah, big up to let's like this from I vaguely know
Evening, Matt. Evening to everyone.
I tell you one thing, it shows how old I am. Even Tequila was struggling with Quincy Jones' voice.
Yeah. It's true, I was.
That really showed my age. Let's welcome a few people in and then we will kick off. Big up to Paul Brown for becoming a new YouTube member. Big up to you, Paul. Thank you so much indeed. It really does help. Tequila, do you want to say anything to Paul?
Keep up good support, mate. We appreciate it. We've been getting a lot of support, haven't we, the last couple of months? So keep up the good work.
Yeah, we really have. Yeah, it's Been absolutely pleased. Thank you so much. There is a member show tomorrow. I think member show tomorrow at 4 for you guys to get an early look at my predicted lineup before I do it live for non-members on Saturday. So watch for that. Big up to people over on Tony's channel. Big up to Harry Monk. Big up to Harry. Big up
Daz.
Big up to Daz one as well. Big up to you, sir. Big up to Mayo. Big up to Steve. Big up to you, Steve. Hope you're doing well, bud. Big up to the old Mucker. Big up Frog on the Wall.
Frog.
Big up to your Frog. Hope you're doing well. Look at him. I just love the optimism of West Ham fans think you're going to win tomorrow night. I just love it. And I love it when you lose as well. Joking. Right. Coxie, big up to Harry there. Who else we've got coming in? Big up to Wayne Bonner. Good evening, folks. Hope all well. Looking forward to what hopefully a Spurs side with a better mentality swoops Sunderland. Come on, you Spurs. Tottenham till I die. That's it. Big up to you, Wayno. Big up the Frog on the Wall. Says, blimey, this tune has more corn than care. See, it's all happening now. I mentioned you start blowing bubbles, and I'm getting hit with this. Good. Dermo is hosting. By the looks.
You are indeed.
Yeah, well, it is my channel. It's our channel. Me and Tequila's channel. Not my channel. It's our channel. Big up to Brendan as well. Evening Tone, co-host chatters. Big up to you. Big up to Stephanie. Big up from the United Agenda. Big up to you, Steph. Hope you're doing well. Who else is in? Who else come in? Big up to Sharon as well. Big up to you, Sharon. I really hope we will, Sharon. We will stay up. Don't worry. Don't panic. On the 24th of May, you will be celebrating with a bottle of champagne and dancing around the sitting room. Spurs are staying up. Wrong kind of wave, Dermot. I don't know what I did, but big up to you, Ray.
It was this one.
Who else
it was that one, Dermot.
Big up
that
to
little wave.
Oh, that yeah, I should be doing that, shouldn't I?
Porto 1-0 up, apparently.
Who?
Porto 1-0 up.
Oh, interesting. Big up Swoop Spurs as well.
Early as well.
Yeah, big up Swoop Spurs. Are we cursed? Kudus, and we did report it earlier here on the channel that Kudus is now out for the season. I'm sure West Ham fans would love to send them a get well message. I'm sure they will. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, remember, Spurs was the only club that he was interested in. So yes.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm off my rocker. Well, Tequila been telling you I've been off my rocker for years.
He has to be on it for him to get off it, mate. In the first place.
Yeah, it's my turn after the show, Tequila. Get off it. It's my go. Big up to Quincy Jones, also scored films. I'm pretty sure he scored Color Purple and Coming to America. I think he did, actually. Yeah, I think he did. Who else is in? Who else is coming? All talking. Big up to Dr. Tottenham. Big up Tony and Dermot. Big up to you, Dr. Tottenham. Dr. Tottenham Therapy. And the other guy.
And the other guy.
Anthony, you know that's Tequila.
And the other guy. It's my first time on Derm. Didn't you know?
No, I didn't know, actually. No.
My debut.
Is it your debut tonight? You're doing well.
It is.
Matt is saying Judas, the Kudas. Haha. Do you know what? We both got Judas at our club, so we got something nicked there. I'm big up to 164 Spurs as well. Tequila, look, I'm gonna start with you first, but and then go to you, Tony. Tequila, look, Tottenham start at Sunderland on Sunday. The Zebra Blue and White Army are on the march. With the news Kudos is out now for the season, does that damper your thoughts about us doing well on Sunday?
Did you call him a zebra? Did you just call him a zebra?
Yeah, I've got a speech impediment. I do. I know. I'm not going to get everything right.
but he said zebra. I thought of the animal as zebra. Do you think a zebra would do better? Think he'd have more luck?
Yeah, that's true. But no, seriously, we do this out, bud. Where's your thoughts on that?
I don't know what impact people think he's going to have automatically. I think we're all praying for the whole new manager bounce. You know, the rumored thing that apparently we were meant to get under Tudor as well, that just never materialized. So I'm hoping that this will be more like most clubs get. I still think it might be a little bit too little too late, personally. But I hope I'm wrong. I'm not expecting. I'm expecting them to try a bit more, because I would like to think that the majority of them, at least the ones whose head is still in the game, and that's not all of them, as we know, the ones who are going to leave no matter what, and we're all probably thinking the same names. I don't think they care. I don't think there's any way of getting them back on side. I think that their mind's already out. Their head's already out of Spurs. Their mind's already gone. But the ones who do plan on maybe sticking around with us next year, if we stay up at least, I'd like to see them put a shift in under the new manager, because they will want him. Because now that we know that he's probably going to be here next year, probably, then I'd like to think that they're going to put a shift in for him, which of course they had no inclination to do under Tudor, because they knew that he was a lame duck manager. Because they knew that he was not going to be here next year, no matter what they did. So they had the freedom to not care. So the problem when you have the interim is that it gives them the freedom to not care. We'll see which one of them actually want to have a future at our club. I don't think it's personally many, but we'll see if there is. We'll see which one of them actually want to be here and who don't want to be here.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to learn.
I mean, that's true. No, I agree with you. It's going to be. We will probably know in the first 10, 15 minutes of that game on Sunday. I mean, Tony, look, with us playing Sunday and you playing Friday, is it more advantage West Ham than it is advantage Tottenham?
I'd say it's more advantage to West Ham. And before we carry on with that, I'll just let you know, Martin Femmings for Porto has just scored an absolute worldie of an own goal. He's done a back pass to the keeper. Keeper was off the back foot, trying to get it, and it was too late. It was in the back of the net. So it's there 1-1 in the game at the moment.
I have to have a look at that for a laugh.
Yeah. I think the momentum is more with us at the moment. So the game on tomorrow night will definitely be in our hands, and getting a result tomorrow then obviously puts you into the bottom three. And is that enough inspiration for De Zerbi to try and get you guys G'd up, or is it, as Tequila saying, a bit too little, too late?
Yeah, I agree, man. Look, I just think tomorrow, if West Ham get a result tomorrow, I don't think some of these players will have the balls for the fight on Sunday. Because I think they're gone. Because some of them are thinking, oh, we've got the World Cup in a few weeks' time. And I wonder how many players are starting thinking, oh, do I want to get injured? Do I really want to go into that tackle? Do I really want to put the foot in?
Wouldn't you say that's most teams in the Premier League? I mean, there's a couple of teams maybe who haven't got many internationals, but let's be honest, most Premier League teams have got several internationals who might all be feeling that way in this part of the year, Dermo. So that's not a Spurs. I think that's a Premier League. Most of the Premier League teams, like I say, maybe Burnley and Wolves might not have many, but the majority of the teams have got several internationals who are probably all thinking that don't know if I want to go in for that 50-50 tackle there in case I get injured. I don't think that's a Spurs problem. I mean, I think that's
I agree. It's not, but I'm just thinking personally for Tottenham and probably personally for West Ham. But I mean, for West Ham, for Tony, with you going out to Leeds, do you think you can use that, as strange as this sounds, do you think you can use that as motivation for the final 7 games too? Just to end the season on some sort of, use that as fuel to the fire. Look, we've really got to end this on a high.
Yeah, I think if you look at that's the figures in it. I mean, like using it, every single game we play now is a cup final, isn't it? Just to get it over the line for the survival side of things. For us, being knocked out of the Leeds game, we weren't. I wasn't exactly happy. I know a few people in the chat weren't exactly kind of enamoured by the team that he put out on Sunday. And fair play, they got back into the game, but why leave it that long to do it in the first place? So now, hopefully we can have players back for tomorrow night, which gives us the push to see that the points in their favour. It's the problem is sometimes it's Nuno. He's the problem sometimes. We got this little spell from January onwards where it's kind of got us where we are now. Even at one point we thought we was definitely written off. But if he keeps tinkering like he does in certain games, then that'll be the undoing for us. But hopefully now it'll be focused. Now the cup game's out of the way with. Now it's all about concentrating until the end of the season. So hopefully he'll put more process into that, and also that will be enough to get us through where we need to be. Sorry for you guys, it could be the wrong way around, because where we've got the momentum, you've definitely lower morale. You're not only just lower morale, it's the performances, it's everything going at your club at the moment, which is come at the wrong time. And obviously now hearing the news that Kudus is out till the rest of the season. Any kind of one of the players you were expecting to come back out of your injury list and he's had a setback like that. I mean, obviously we're still having an eye on what's going on with Somerville. There is rumours that he's going to be out, and there's rumours he's going to be available. So I don't know. He's playing my tactics, Nuno. But if he's back as well, then of course that gives you a double lift as well.
It does. It does, and he is right, Tequila, isn't he? You look at Kudus out. He was due to play. We know Vicario may or may not be there on Sunday. Look, from a Tottenham point of view, I think with us playing on Sunday, I think if West Ham win tomorrow night, I think that should give the players all the motivation they need to say, right, this is our season. This is where it starts. Who for you? I mean, you look at West Ham, they've got Bowen, and they've got, I think, one or two players in there that lead by example. I mean, you are looking at the likes of Romero, Van der Ven, Palunia. I'm sorry to say it, but Porro as well, to sort of lead by example and take the team by the scruff of the neck. But they haven't done it this season at all, Tequila, in any games. And West Ham did beat us early in the season. So where are you with this, with West Ham, if we're in the bottom three on Sunday? Somebody did say in the chat, will you see Spurs players have some balls, or do you think it would just be too much for them?
I don't see why it should make a difference, but that's me. They should be professional enough to already know that it's more or less a straight shootout now. Who plays first and who doesn't should not have any bearing. Whether or not it does or not, that's down to their weak mentality. But that's not how I look at it. Just because West Ham are playing first shouldn't make a difference, really, for me. We both know we've got the same amount of games left. We both know the fixtures. All the teams know the fixtures by now. They know what their job is to do. So who cares who goes first? That stuff should not play a factor. If it does play a factor, then they're weaker minded than I think they are. If they're going to react even worse because West Ham pick up a win. If they're proper professionals and they've got any kind of mental strength whatsoever, then they should already know what their job is. Their job is to get 3 points, because they can't control, and West Ham the same way for us. Nothing Spurs do now, because we're not playing West Ham anymore this season. Anything West Ham do is completely out of Spurs' hands. And every one of those players is out of their hands. It's out of the manager's hands. It's out of the board's hands. It's out of the players' hands. Whatever West Ham do is on them and them alone. And it's exactly the same for Spurs. Right? Spurs can save themselves, and West Ham have the ability also to save themselves. But it's up to them and them alone. So who cares who plays first? It shouldn't make a slightest bit of difference. All that matters is they know the team. No, it should, but it shouldn't. Whether or not it does, but it shouldn't. If they're weak, they're going to be weak. They're going to be weak. If it does, then they're weak-minded, which I think they are anyway, because they know it's a straight shootout. Really, you can probably throw Forest back in there, even though I think Forest have an advantage over West Ham and Spurs. But you could say it's a three-way shootout. I think Leeds are probably going to be okay, so I think it's a three-way shootout. I thought that for ages. All Spurs can do is control what Spurs do. You can't be worrying about what West Ham do. You worry about what you do. Do you think Man United, when Fergie was having him win title after title, do you think he really cared? All he cared about is what Man United did. It's a certain mentality, and I don't know if this manager's going to explain that. Hopefully, if he's got anything about him, that he will as well. Care what you do. Don't care about what West Ham, what other teams do. Care what you do. Care about what you control. You can't control if West Ham are going to win their games. You've got no say over that. You do have a say over you winning your games. So control that.
And all you can do is match them, can't they? If West Ham win, we win. Look, you're right in what you say. I do agree with what you're saying. But I think when it comes to the pressure, the players will obviously, and I think it's natural just think, What West
For
Ham
the-
doing tonight? Are they
for-
winning?
for-
I think
these-
it's a natural thing to have.
these-
I think it's
for
a
these-
natural
for these
response.
players, Dermo, for these players, yeah, because they're weak-minded. For these players, yeah, they've proven they're weak-minded. But the best of the best, don't worry about it. They control.
No,
what they
I
control.
agree. It's that mentality, isn't it? Stuff you. It's all about us, and we don't care what.
Wasn't it?
Isn't it?
Wasn't it Klopp who was always talking about a mentality monsters? Well, man, Spurs. I don't know. We'll find out who's got the better mentality, West Ham or Spurs. I know what I think, and it doesn't look good for us because I think West Ham, although they're not amazing themselves, I think Tony will agree. I think they've got more mentality than we do. I think they've got a stronger mentality than we do.
Would you agree with that, Tony?
Yeah, I think that's what's been kind of seeing us through games. Actually, is that mindset from because it was a change. You know, we couldn't buy a win until kind of just after January, and then of course suddenly we found this momentum, and it just went on from there. And of course, you can see the belief in the players, and we started to kind of play with a different kind of style. It looked better. We went with a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1, and that's benefited us. So when you look at things like that, them things just add on to the confidence, the mentality, and the mindset, and it's kind of got us to where we are at this position now. And of course, it's dragged you into that point. I mean, when you look at Leeds, for instance, 1 minute being comfortable, they're only I think it's 3 points for you and 4 points for us behind. So it's things can change. Look at their running; they just got there. I mean, Villa, who knows with that one? That's a strange one. Wolves depends. I mean, they're on a free hit, aren't they? Just like Burnley in certain respects. But the Bournemouth game, they've got to go to Bournemouth. So Bournemouth normally are pretty strong at home. Burnley, well, I think they're going to end up bottom of the table myself. I think the way it's gone. We use guys. I don't know. Are they going to be too strong for you? And the Brighton game, it's going to be one of those. You're going to get the 50 pence out and toss head or tails. Who's going to what Brighton side's going to turn up?
And then you've got you guys in last game of the season, which I think is going to be sort of where I think this is going. I think this is all. I think for me, it's going to go last game of the season that one of us is going to need something. I mean, Tequila. Tony went through Leeds fixtures here. These are Leeds' last 7 games. We do play them on the 11th of May at 8 o'clock. Do you think Leeds got 33 points at the moment? Do you think out of that last 7 games, if they beat Wolves and Burnley, that will keep them safe, do you think?
Yes, I think they've probably got. I'd say they've probably got the easiest running, especially of their home fixtures, because that if those games were away, you might say that would be. But no, all they've got to do really is. I mean, they might not beat Brighton at home, but all they've got to do is beat Burnley and Wolves. As Tony said, they are significantly the 2 worst teams. I mean, I know. Don't worry, we're rubbish, but we're probably not quite as rubbish as Burnley and Wolves. So they are. And that's the difference between this year and last year, Dermo. Last year, we had 3 rubbish teams. That's why we didn't get relegated. This year, there's only 2 really rubbish teams. Although, we're not that far off. Now, they'll get the 6 points. I'm pretty sure they'll get 6 points out of them, Dermo. And that will, I think, just about season safe. Even if they were to lose to us, which I don't think they will, I still think they'd be safe. So,
yeah, we will get to West Ham's fixtures in a minute. Look, Tony. Look, I think we can beat Leeds. Call it. We don't win at home much. I mean, we haven't won in 100 days. So me asking Tottenham to win is a bit like asking Santa Claus to drop you a beautiful present Christmas Day. But Leeds do have the easiest of the run-ins. Look, that is Leeds. Now, this is not the Forest's running. Forest are winning tonight. But again, they're playing the sort of same teams that West Ham and Tottenham are going to play. To start with Villa at home, Burnley at home, Sunderland away, Chelsea away, Newcastle away at home, United away, Bournemouth home. Out of all them games, Tony, where do you think Forest's tougher games are in that sort of last 7 games? Or flip that, where do you think they might actually get the win they need to probably stay up? Because I'm looking at 38 points will probably save you this year.
Burnley game obviously is probably going to be nailed on. They should get a result out of that. And even not being funny, the likes of Chelsea or even Newcastle, because they're so hit and miss this season. It's unbelievable. So yeah, I think maybe them 3 kind of games could be the ones. The Bournemouth game, like I said, with them, they're going to travel to Forest. Is Iriola going to be swayed at that point because there is talks of him being tapped up? Being tapped up for, I think he's either Palace or even Man U. So is that going to sway his mind? Don't know at that stage. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Tequila, Forest, they're playing in Europe. Do you think that could have an impact on their season? And with the 7 games got left, plus with the European games, if they do go to a semi-final where they could play Villa in the semi-final, do you feel that could have an impact on their survival bid? Or do you think there's enough games there for them to get a couple of points and be safe?
I mean, it might impact the fitness of their squad. I don't know how in-depth their squad is, but it might test their squad over those periods when they've got to play 2 games a week. So I mean, that might give us a small advantage. But looking at those fixtures, Burnley, I think, is the one that stands out most likely. They'll get 3 points from. It's quite a tough run-in. They ain't getting anything at United or Chelsea. I don't think they're getting anything against Villa. They could get a point against Sunderland and maybe beat Bournemouth again, but I think they'll get probably. I'm looking at that and I see maybe 5 points. 5 points.
So 37 points. Do you think 37 guys? Where do you think the safety line is? Where's your points for the safety line? Do you think?
I think it's slightly changed this year again, isn't it? I mean, it used to be like 40 points.
I mean, yeah. There's 3 of us who are pretty bad. Other than Burnley and Wolves, there is like 2 or 3 of us. Forest are there. That's why Dermo. We said before that we needed to beat Forest and we didn't.
Yeah, I
if he would have beaten Forest, I think it would have been probably Forest going down. But because we didn't, it's back up. It could be in 1 of 3 easily. 5 points for me. I don't. But 5 points, you maybe 6 the max 6, but I think it's more likely 5 because they're not getting anything. United, they're not getting anything in Villa, Chelsea, or United. I'll be shocked if they get any points against those 3 for sure.
I do agree with Tony in the way that Chelsea have been a lot hit and miss recently. That I mean, they lost at the weekend, didn't they? 3-0. I know we've got to play Chelsea. I reckon the points are beat Burnley, probably get a point at Sunderland, then probably beat Newcastle, so that's 7. And then they may get a point at United or Bournemouth. So that'll probably get them over the 40 mark. Where are you going with it, Tony? Where's your where do you think they're going to get the points?
I said, I think they get it from Burnley. Sunderland's not an easy place to go to, as you'll probably find out on the weekend. Like I said, Chelsea. Wouldn't surprise me there'd be a draw in that game. The Newcastle one, they're at home for that. And Newcastle don't always travel away well at near the end anyway. So I think they might get a result of that again. Man United, yeah, I mean, I think at that point, Man United would be too strong for them. And the Bournemouth game, again, maybe a draw out of that one as well.
Yeah. So, right, last on this, Tequila. So, I should have asked about Leeds, actually. Sorry, so I'm going to go back to that. Are Leeds staying up or going down, Tequila?
Staying up.
Tone?
I think they may just hang on by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing, because, when you look at their performances, apart from, and not discounting the cup game, but their performances have not been great the last month or so. It has kind of dwindled. So there's an advantage if you look at it for us, for Forest, and for you guys as well. If they get, beat on Monday, that could obviously upset them a little bit, and then the pressure becomes on them because they've enjoyed a good season so far, and they keep going on about that, mentioned it so many times how good their season's been, but unless you get it across the line, doesn't matter how good your season's been. If you're going to finish in that bottom three, it counts for nothing.
No, I agree. To keep so both of you, I think Leeds are probably safe enough. I don't think they will get dragged into it. I think they will get enough points to stay up. I think another probably 6 points. I think Leeds are there. Tequila Forest, are they on the cusp, or do you think they'll stay up or go down? Where you on Forest?
Yeah, I'm going to go with what I thought before we played them, and nothing's really changed my mind about it. They're better than us. I think they've proven that they're better than us. It is a difficult run-in. They do have maybe the most difficult run-in, maybe. But I think I've got them 37-38. I think they will probably survive. I think it's us and West Ham, probably, who are going to battle out. But it's minimal. Like if they do survive, it'll be by a point. You know what I mean? It is that close.
It will be tight. I mean,
it's going to be extremely.
If you look at Tequila, Dermot, Brendan put a good comment in there. He says, obviously, you think the cup games Leeds and Forest have to play are also a factor in the running, which could obviously, again, they've then got to balance that, haven't they? If they're still in the cup, with Forest at the moment, drawing at the moment, it's them kind of factors that could obviously make or break your season.
And that's it, isn't it? That with the European run, what do they prioritise? And I don't think they're going to prioritise one over the other, but I think Premier League survival is probably more important than winning the European trophy.
I think if you ask the Forest chairman, I think he'll choose probably to stay in the Premier League. I don't think the last thing that chairman wants to do is go back to the Championship.
No,
he's fired 3 managers already this year to make sure to do his best to make sure it doesn't happen, Dermo. So
he's trying to be the new Watford chairman.
So
fire as many managers as you can. Right, we are going to leave Tottenham to last because it is a Spurs channel, and we're now going to go to West Ham, the Orange. Now this is West Ham's last 7 games. They've got Wolves at home tomorrow night, Palace away, Everton at home, Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, Leeds United last game of the season. Tequila, what worries me on this run-in is I think they can beat Wolves. I think they can beat Palace. I think they get something at Everton. Probably get a draw at Brentford. There's a lot of wins there in that run-in, apart from the Arsenal game and possibly the Leeds game. If it gets to the last game of the season and West Ham just need a point and Leeds the same, do you think Leeds and West Ham might pay out a goalless draw? I know Tony's going to probably shake his head at this, just to put Tottenham down. Could you see that happening?
Probably not. I think they'd want to. I don't think that they might be a bit cagey, I suppose, but I don't think they're just going to sit there passing the ball between the back 4 for 90 minutes. No. They might be a bit more cagey. There might be instructions from the managers just to say, just keep it tight. And both teams might want to keep it tight. But they're not. I don't think they're going to play for a draw particularly. But you never know. You never. I can't see.
West Ham in this.
West Ham. I think I can see wins. I think Wolves. They've got to be favourites to beat Wolves. I think Palace are not particularly impressive this season. I know they beat us, but that's not difficult. They could easily get a point or a win there, if I'm honest. Leeds also are not amazing either. They could get a point or win there. So I think at max, I could see 9 points, but I don't think they're going to get 9 points. I think maybe I can see maybe a win and 2 draws, or 2 wins and a draw. So I think you're looking at between 5 and 7 points. That would be in the bracket from what I see from that. About between 5 and 7 points. So I would say 6 points because that's the average of 5 and 7, but that means they have to get 2 wins. So if you want to say 6 points, I'll say 6 points because that's the average. That's the average between the 5 and the 7. So I'll say 6, which means they have to get 2 wins, which could be a tough ask. But if they are going to win, I think it's most likely them winning Wolves and maybe Leeds. Maybe.
Tony, look, it's the bigger game for you, bud, right? The Arsenal game. Is that the one that jumps out of you on paper, or is Leeds just as big? But do you think with Wolves, Palace, Everton, and Brentford before that, it's a great chance for you guys to really pick up a good few points before you play Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the Wolves game is, for us, we know it's a must-win, and we should be favourites to kind of get something out of that game. The Palace one, considering we've got to go to them, we don't always do well there. They are a bit of a bogey scene for us, but momentum's changed. Glasner's obviously going to be gone. That's for sure in that respect. Everton, our old manager back to the London Stadium, and Moyes has got them playing pretty well. So do we get anything out of that? Possibly a draw. The Brentford game, it's going to be at their place again. They seem to fare pretty well when they're at home, but we have beaten them, so there is that as well. The Arsenal game, with Arsenal, we seem to like playing against them. So there's a possibility we can actually get something out of that game, because they do. And as we know at the moment, they're a little bit fragile, so we could take advantage of that. And you mentioned the Leeds game as being the one where there's possibly a draw on that. Not being funny, it's something that maybe you two haven't considered. Your North London rivals, if it means that they're going to see you lot go down, you'd more favour them to go for the draw than the other way around.
That's the point.
Newcastle. Again, with Newcastle, we won there, we've lost there. Again, it just means what Newcastle side turns up, because again they should have done really well this season, but they've been another team that's been very hit and miss. And the Leeds game, I said like with the cup final, was it a precursor to this game come the end of the season? But because obviously the changes that Nuno made. It hides a lot of things, and with the players we've got coming back, I think we will be a bit more stronger than them. So I'd actually fancy us getting 3 points out of that game as well.
Yeah, I mean, Tequila. Look, we are going to get Tottenham now in a minute, but I mean, we've got here. Harry says, "Let me take that off so everyone can see it." He says, "Yes, Dermot." He said, "If we both know that a draw keeps us up and relegation, you can definitely see a calculated draw." I mean, does that worry you? I mean, look, we know football can be a funny game, and we know, especially around London, there's a lot of rivalry between us and between West Ham and Leeds and all this. So there's a lot of rivalry between the clubs that are down there. Does it worry you that there might be some skullduggery going on? Or
No.
do you trust that everyone's going to play above the board? Because managers can be funny. If they know a draw can keep you both up, it's happened in the past. I remember we were playing Holland in the 1990 World Cup, and we found out because England beat Egypt that a draw would put us both into the round of 16. And Jack Charlton and the Dutch manager were putting instructions: just play out for a draw. You don't need to win. You don't need to lose. Just play for a draw. Can you see that going? Can you really see that being in the mix somewhere? Are you so totally say that's definitely never going to happen?
No, I wouldn't say. No, I'm not naive enough to think it couldn't happen. But I'll go back to kind of what I was saying earlier. If we allow it to get to that point, then that's on Spurs and Spurs alone.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It can be all sorted out before the Everton game. I know you think it won't be, but it can be. And it's up to Spurs if they want to sort it out. It's on them and them alone to do it. So I'm not going to worry about what could happen if in that potential. My idea would be don't let someone else decide for you. Decide for yourself again. So don't leave it in the hands of West Ham and Leeds to do that. You sort out your own business, so that's not a factor in the first place, and it can still be done. It's not too late for that part. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't, because I don't think this team's got the mentality for it. So yeah. I do think I do think that could be a possibility, but I'm still I'm still very adamant that it doesn't need to happen. If we allow it to happen, that's on Spurs. So I'm not going to start blaming West Ham or Leeds to do whatever they need to do to keep themselves up by all means, because it will be on Spurs and Spurs alone if we get relegated. No one else. Don't pass on the buck. It's on Spurs, only Spurs.
Dermot, before you go into your games, question I'll ask you both. Obviously, as you know, you've got De Zerbi in there now. Are you worried that he may start off like he did at Brighton? And that was didn't win the first 6 games of his reign at Brighton.
That worries me greatly, and that I have thought about that, and it does me very much so. I don't know about you, Tequila, but it does me.
No, not really, because Tudor apparently comes in and was a firefighter, and he did the opposite. So maybe if the opposite was what's happening with Spurs, then let him start badly. So that means if he starts badly everywhere else, then he can start well here. It's my way of saying is I don't believe in stuff like not curse. I know you didn't phrase it as a curse, but I don't believe in stuff like that. It's just like, I don't believe just because he started slowly at other clubs that means that he's going to start slowly at Spurs, and vice versa, because Tudor apparently puts fires out. He didn't put no fires out when he came to Spurs. He threw more fuel onto the fire. So I mean, so
bear in mind that Tequila, that man is, your club number 11. He's been sacked of. His track record, in the previous 10 appointments, he lasted anywhere between 3 to 6 months before being sacked.
Yep.
So it was a strange appointment in the first place for you guys. I mean, you two must have been thinking, who the hell is this geezer that's come in, and what's he going to do? Well, the evidence was there.
But this is what I mean, Tony. It's like there's been so many cock-ups from our board and our quote unquote footballing people in charge, Lang and Vinay, that it is to Spurs and Spurs alone. I'm not saying West Ham don't have a role to play in this. You guys can save yourself at the expense of Forest, for example, but it is on Spurs and Spurs alone.
Of course,
just Spurs. If Spurs get out of it, and just like it's on West Ham and West Ham alone, and it'll be on Forest and Forest alone. We're all capable of controlling our destinies. There's still enough left, and it can still be done, including Leeds as well. If Leeds want to fall away and not get any more points, which again is not an impossible thing, unlikely but not impossible. Yeah. So there's at least 4 teams who still have their destiny in their own hands. It's only 4, but there's still 4 teams who've got a destiny in their own hands.
True.
Yeah, that is true. Well, look, these are Tottenham's last 7 games. We've got Sunderland away on Sunday. We've got Brighton at home the following Saturday. We've got Wolves then the Saturday after that. We've got Villa then away. We've got Leeds at home on the Monday night, the last Monday night football for Tottenham. And then we're Chelsea away on the 17th and Everton at home on the 16th. Tequila, look, you may have gone over this now numbers of times on this channel, the last 7 games of the season. Sunday is so critical, and that's why I put it on there. It's critical. We need a win on Sunday, because what I don't want to happen is get to Leeds game and be 3 points adrift, knowing we need something out the last 2 games. For me, an ideal situation would be to get to Leeds knowing Chelsea and Everton, there's nothing there. We're safe. We're not going down. Doesn't matter if we lose the last 2 games. It's not going to affect us. How important is it that we do get a win on Sunday? Because a lot of people are saying that I'll take a draw. I don't think a draw is good enough. I think it has to be all 3 points, because if you're going into these games and West Ham, I think, do West Ham, Tony, play first a few times? I think they do.
Sorry, say again, mate.
Do West Ham play first before Spurs in the last 7 games? I think they do.
Yeah, so obviously we play tomorrow, don't we? And then, of course, I think the time-wise, I think most of them we may play before you, I do believe.
So if we get to that point that we get to Leeds and we're sort of 3 or 5 points, 3 points adrift, Tequila, would you worry them for the last 2 games? Do you want to get to Leeds knowing nothing to worry about? We're fine, we're safe. But if you do get to Leeds 3 points adrift, do you worry that we might not get out of it then?
I think if we're 3 points adrift after the Leeds game, that's more or less relegation because we ain't getting nothing at Chelsea, and you know that we never do, right? So that would be a minor miracle because even when we were a half decent team, we still couldn't get anything at Chelsea. So you can kiss that one to go goodbye. Everton, we've actually got a very good record over the years at home to Everton. We tend to normally beat them, but this is obviously a completely new low for Spurs at home, as we know. So that is now far from guaranteed. See, my mind tells me that Everton at home shouldn't be a big deal, but then I remember to myself, oh, this is 2026 Tottenham, and every game at home is a big deal because we can't win at home. I need to retrain my mind to remember that. I look at those fixtures, Dermo. I think if you look at those fixtures in isolation compared to the West Ham fixtures, compared to the Forest fixtures, I actually think we've got the easiest of the three. If you look at the teams, I think we've just about got the easier of the three fixtures. But I think that we're the worst of the three teams. That's why it's going to be so close. Because I think we've got slightly, it's not massively, but I think slightly. I look at the fixtures and I think slightly we've got the easier running. But we are significantly the worst team of the three. And we've got the least morale. We're also the most upheaval as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so close. But if I just take my emotions completely out of it and I just logically look at that fixture list, if I just saw the three fixture lists by themselves, I would say that we've got the easier running, just about, based on those seven fixtures.
Yeah, okay, take me through it, buddy. Sunderland away.
Yeah, I don't see that as being critical, no, because my expectations would be a point. If we can get a point there, I think that's a good result. Again, normally at home to Brighton, I'd expect us to show up, but not this year. So I think that's probably a loss. If we lose against Wolves, we're getting relegated. In my opinion, we have to win that one. But I said that we had to beat Forest, and we didn't. The two games I earmarked Dermo was Forest and Wolves. We've already failed one of them. We ain't getting nothing at Villa. Leeds for me. That's one of those. I can see any kind of result at Leeds because they're inconsistent as well. I can see any result at home to Leeds. I could see a loss. I could see a draw. I could see even a win. I could see all three happening at Leeds. That Leeds game for me is probably going to be the powder keg moment because, as you've just said, if we go in after Leeds needing any points, I think we're probably getting relegated because I'm not confident of us getting any points in the last two games.
Yeah,
I think we're looking at. I do think if we can't beat Wolves, we deserve to get relegated with all due respect. So I think you're looking at. I think you're looking at 5 points, maybe 6 max. I think it's a very similar amount to what I said to West Ham. Not much difference in the points, personally.
I have to slightly disagree with you. I think Sunderland is important because if West Ham win tomorrow night and we only get a point, we're still in the bottom three by the time West Ham play.
Yeah, again. But as I said before, I don't care about that.
But it's about. Then the manager. This is the manager's job then to kick these players' weak mentality arse up the backside. Yeah,
right?
But it's about. This is how I see it through my eyes and how I see it. It's about putting the pressure back on West Ham. I mean, I think Tequila's right in what he's saying, Tony, that every team should just worry about themselves, and he's right in what he's saying. But if you're trying to put the pressure, it's about putting the pressure back on the other team. You want to win tomorrow night to put the pressure on Tottenham.
Yeah.
Then we won't need to beat Sunderland to put the pressure. It's about who's going to crack first, isn't it? And these run-ins and who can hold their nerve and who cracks first.
Well, no, you treat it as every normal game. You've got to turn that stuff off. And if you're a good professional,
it's not.
You've got to turn it off.
Maybe you want to do that, but I don't think you can because of
but these are meant to be international footballers, don't they?
Yeah, even players. I'm sure players going for the championship, they would get emotion does come into it, fear does come into it, panic comes into it. You're second guessing yourself. If you're making a tackle, is that the right tackle? Because of what the consequences could be. You're right in what you're saying, but I just think mentally, I think the stronger out of the two teams, out of us and West Ham, is West Ham. Because I don't think our players have the mentality to go into a fight where I think West Ham do. Tony, would you with pressure? Do you think? Do you agree with me in some way? I do agree with Tequila what he's saying, but in another way, It is all about putting pressure on each other, isn't it, bud?
It is. I mean, like, you know, as you said, we win the game tomorrow night, then straight away you drop into that bottom three. What does that do for morale when you're already at rock bottom? And it's getting yourself out that. And, you know, no matter what manager you are, you've got to try and motivate them players. And it's this lineup of fixtures you're showing here where if he uses his common sense is where you're going to gain points and maybe where you're going to foul on certain points. The Sunderland game, they are quite strong at home, and he's done an amazing job with that club. You know, and he's pushing to still move up that table. So the momentum's with Sunderland in that respect. But yeah, the morale side of things, if you don't get anything out of that, I mean, Michael Chelsea's put there, you know, when you look at even, was it the Marseille, you got 1 point out of 10 games, I think he's put there. Let me just see that comment he's put. I don't know if you can see it, Dermot.
Where
is it now? Let me just go back to the thing there. Where's he put it? Let me just go. Toward the end of De Zerbi's reign, 1 win in 10 games.
Oh, was that when he was at Brighton? Yeah. Or
No. Marseille. That's Marseille.
Yeah. I did see that comment. Yeah. Let me see it.
So when you look at something like that, he's got momentum's task to try and lift them players in that dressing room. And has he got enough cojones to do that? Time will tell. But the Sunderland game, you put it down as a critical game. Of course, it's just like us with Wolves. Both of our games are critical. We win that game, you're down in the bottom three. You win that game, it kind of, it evens itself out in that respects. So it's quite crucial.
It is. I just got one question just to you both, and then we'll get your points tallies on this. Sorry, pardon me. With the teams winning, say Villa win tonight and Forest win tonight, guys, doesn't that give them players extra sort of confidence of going into these games? Because it's all about, isn't it? It's all about confidence and momentum. And you are right, Tony. West Ham have momentum. I think Forest now have a bit of momentum. Leeds have a bit of momentum by beating you guys on the FA Cup. The key that with confidence, it will give them confidence, won't they? Winning these games like tonight, and with Villa and Forest tonight, and Leeds beating at West Ham in the FA Cup. It's all about momentum and confidence now, isn't it?
I mean, it would give them a rest, like mentally a rest, because they haven't got to worry about being in the doldrums of the Premier League. I mean, and as you've said, Spurs only have the Premier League left now, so the players know that all that's left is, I suppose, a weary fight against survival, something which the majority of this team, and that's another thing that both Forest and West Ham have got over us as well, is West Ham and Forest have both been relegated much and have been, I'm not saying West Ham have been that much of a yo-yo club, but they're much more used to being in these positions, and Forest especially, than we are. And that is a massive, massive thing. It's not just the players themselves, but it's the club as a whole. And we already know that our board don't know how to manage their way out of anything, don't they? Let alone being in it, but let alone so even the people who might be a bit more competent than our owners, who have been around the club a lot longer, even them, this is kind of new ground for. So it's new ground. It's new ground even for the people who have been here a while. Let alone the fact that our owners are, I don't know if I should say the word new, but at least they're in new positions of making decisions. They're not new. They've been around the club for a while, but they're at least new in the fact that they are now making the decisions. Whereas West Ham and Forest, especially Forest out of the two, have obviously, been fighting for relegation more or less every year. I know last year they got 7th, but that was a bit of a freak occurrence. Normally they're battling against relegation most years. And West Ham, as I'm sure Tony will know, majority, they do finish in the bottom half. Generally, that is kind of where they've been finishing a lot of the time. So again, they're much more used to being in these positions than Spurs are, and that shouldn't be underestimated either. And I don't just mean the players; I mean the club as a whole, not just the playing staff, but the whole club as a whole, including the fan base, because we're not really used to this either. Maybe we should have seen it coming, and maybe last year should have been a warning that I don't think people realised, because the Europa League covered those cracks up. It didn't for me, and didn't for me and the people who weren't a big fan of Ange. And I'm telling the truth, Dermo. It covered up an awful lot of cracks.
I'm not saying you're not.
It covered up an awful lot of cracks for an awful lot of people. That Europa League win, it did. But I saw this coming in the league. I was hoping that Ange going would fix it, and it didn't. But there we are.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Tony, it is all mental is part of the game, isn't it? Mentality and mental strength. West Ham have been in relegation battles before. I know some of these players haven't, but some of them have been down there. You've been down there before. Does that come into its own as well? That what you're doing down there? It's a dogfight. It's like a street fight, isn't it? It's like everyone for themselves. And Tottenham seem to be the new boys down there that we're easy to be picked on. Is that something to do with it?
I think so. I mean, if you use it's unknown territory because you've never really been in that kind of. I mean, yes, as Tequila highlighted there, you were close to it last year, but it's a fact of you had 3 teams that were poor that saved you in that respect. Yes, we have been there, many times. I mean, when you think this, the remit from the board from the beginning of the season was stay in the Premier League to make it 15 years in the Premier League. Nothing else mattered for them, but that was the remit they set themselves. But previous to that, we have been up and down like a horse draws, as they say. We're used to it. We know what to deal with, and we know the pressure that come with that. But we also know the rewards if you do well in the Championship, if you do go down, and if you buy right, because the Championship, as we all know, it's not as easy to get out of as people think it is. If you don't get it right, then you could be stuck in there for a few seasons. Or if you look at the certain clubs, unfortunately, they've gone down 2 more divisions because they've been poorly run, and it's that kind of battle. I'm not saying that's going to happen to either of our clubs, but then saying that with our current board at the moment, who knows? But if it's you guys going down, you want to make sure that you get the things right. I mean, I think we've got both managers that, regardless if we go down, like with Nuno, we don't have to pay him off if he decides to walk. That's one thing. You've got no kind of clause in with De Zerbi. If he goes down, he goes down with you. As simple as that.
Yeah.
So it's how you deal with that.
Yeah,
but
and
we're
that
all
worries
better
me.
than you.
Yeah, that worries me because I don't think we've got the board to do it either. I know both clubs have owners who rather wish they were gone, and then they've still been there. You with Sullivan and Co. I was in it, plus Lewis family. I mean, I was having a rant earlier about that our board reward failure, and that's what's happened. We reward failure, and I think West Ham board is sort of the same with you guys. They seem to reward. And I'm not trying to put you guys down. I'm just trying to call it how I see it, that we do reward failure. And you're never, ever going to succeed as a football club if you keep rewarding failure, if you keep rewarding people that don't do the job. I mean, we've got a director of football that should have been fired after January. And him coming out and saying, well, we're not going to buy anyone because we've got injured players coming back. Well, I'm sorry, we've just lost Kudos now for the rest of the season. We're bare enough as it is. Maddison may not be back before next season. So we've got ourselves into this problem because of our ownership. West Ham have your own fight with your owners. I mean, Tequila, it is coming down to this. Look, taking it away from the relegation fight to the boardroom. We know we want our owners gone. And West Ham want their owners gone. Out of both clubs, right? They're both London clubs. Who's the most attractive football club to new owners, Tequila?
Tottenham. Because of the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Not particularly of the on the football pitch, more to do with off the football pitch.
No, I
You
agree.
can see, they've got the fancy new stadium, they've got the fancy training ground. This is where Levy obviously did do his job. They've obviously made it a very, very enticing prospect for investment if they ever want to sell up, of course, which is the point. They want to make their money, and they're going to make thousands of thousands times whatever it is they made. Was it 3 million? Did they put in to start with the initial investment for Munich, something like that? Did it cost them 3 million or something? I can't remember the exact numbers when they bought it from Sugar, but it was something. It wasn't that many, and obviously now they want 3 billion, and that'll be a cheap price.
I was talking 21 million.
21 million. Okay.
21 million they paid the first one, and then I think they paid 24 million for the rest of the shares. So 40 odd million to buy Tottenham completely, if my memory serves me right.
And they're going to sell it at the very least for 3 billion, is what they want. Not bad, is it? So out of those two clubs, with all due respect to West Ham, Spurs are the more attractive prospect, because not because they're a bigger club per se, because West Ham are a decent sized club as well. But if you look at the infrastructure, Spurs have a better infrastructure. And that's where all the money from Munich has gone in building that infrastructure. He hasn't particularly gone on the play on the footballing pitch. But that is where they have done a good job, and that was where they were always giving credit for, was the stuff off the football pitch. Tottenham is a very it can sustain itself. I know we've got a lot of debt. I know the numbers came out, but overall, if you think about it, we can sustain ourselves if we have to. We're one of the best clubs in the division for that. So the idea is sound. The problem is it's been at the cost of everything else. They never got the balance right, and that was always the problem, because they did not get the balance on the field to off the field. But as an actual, is it an attractive club to own? Well, of course it is. It's one of those sleeping giant clubs, isn't it? We've always been this sleeping. We're a giant who never wakes up. We've been asleep forever, but we are one of those sleeping giant clubs. Are we as big as United and Liverpool? No, we're not. But 6th, 7th biggest club in England. I think that's realistic. We certainly are.
Look, you'll never get me to shout. I think Tottenham are probably one of the biggest clubs in English football. Like West Ham, have a great tradition, have a great history, Tony. Look, I think if you're still at Upton Park, I think you'd be an attractive proposition. But what Michael, I think it was Michael or Brendan said, that you don't own your own ground. I think a lot of fans talk about identity and they talk about Tottenham's identity. And yes, we've got a crisis of who we are. I think West Ham completely have forgotten who they are and where they've come from. Does that worry you as a fan? I mean, you and me probably, Tony, remember the early 80s, West Ham, Tottenham. Do you know? How have you been affected by it, by watching the decline? I mean, for me, I'm angry with the decline we've had. What about you, from the years you remember Brookings to going to Harry Redknapp's years and to where you are now? How angry are you? And have you got an identity?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, we moved to the London Stadium with the promise that, we're going to get Champions League football. The fans will be, as close to the pitch like they are at Upton Park. And, it just never happened. Not being, when you look at you guys, you had obviously Levy getting stressed because Haringey Council wasn't given permission to build the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that, getting frustrated with that. He then throws his weight behind it and says, well, if you don't do this, we're going to pull out, we're going to do this and the other. You've got Barry Hearn at Leyton Orient, then puts his pennyworth in, because we're only a mile and a half away from the London Stadium. We are very much the rightful owners to move into the London Stadium. And of course, then you get Mayor Khan gets involved, and it's a case of, well, we still want athletics to be played out of the London Stadium, or the Olympic Stadium as it was then. But by that stage, before that, Newham Council and West Ham got permission to buy the ground. But because of the three elements getting involved, that's why then it was taken away from us. We couldn't buy the ground. We have to then rent it. So in certain respects, Enoch and Levy, thank you very much. He saved us a few quid in that respects. But it was never the same as what it was at Upton Park. And I've been to when we first moved into there, and watching fans up in the gods having fights, their own fans fighting each other up in the gods, and it's like this is what it was not all about. And this board has never really kind of dealt with anything on their promises, and it's really that kind of kills you, because, like you said, we look at what's behind me with Upton Park. The problem we had with that was how we could expand it. So, as you see there, the West End behind me, you had all this room this side of the car park. So we apparently bought the church, we bought the school, and the idea was at one point to turn the pitch from being north to south to east to west, because we can't go that way because there was the service road. You couldn't go too far this side because you've got basically a block of flats. You then had a Priory Road, which is the other side of the stadium, and you had the bus station there. So where they built, there had been a tunnel underneath that for the buses to go through. So that, unfortunately, Upton Park was quite restricted, but it still was home, But we were pre-warned by Birmingham City fans that when Golden Sullivan bought this club, what they would do to it, and they've lived up to its name. I mean, yes, I agree in respects what Tequila's saying. Yous are more the kind of perspective thing. As Brendan said, we don't own the stadium, so there's that. And not being funny, when you think Amanda Staveley that left Newcastle, she wanted to obviously invest into the Spurs because obviously she's got money to burn. But of course, the Lewises, no, we are not going to give up on that. It's still our place, and you can go and do one. So you've lost out on that kind of deal. And you saw what they did with Newcastle. So what she would have done with you guys, who knows? So yeah, but yeah, really, I mean, they really, our board sold us down the river with, we're going to give you this, but gave you an out.
They sold us both a dream. They never fulfilled on their dreams. Mind you, League did do what they said they're going to do. They said, we want to qualify. We're going to make you a Champions League club. Well, they did what they said. They never said we're going to compete for trophies. They said, we want to qualify for the Champions League. Well, they got to a final. They've done what they set out to do. So, last question before we end up, and do like and subscribe on both channels. Help both of us grow, guys. Tequila, give me your bottom tree.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Wolves, Burnley. Those two could be changed around, as Tony said. It could be that Burnley end up finishing below Wolves. There won't be much between them, but I guess that doesn't matter. Those two will be the bottom two in some form. It's going to be a couple of points, 2 points max, between 18th and 17th. It's just who do I think is going to get 18th and 17th? I think I asked you this, Dermo, and I think you said De Zerbi. I'm going to ask you again. Have we got the highest chance of getting out of this with Tudor, De Zerbi, or with Frank? Should we have kept Frank for this season? Considering, should we have just kept Frank, because we were doing badly, but we weren't.
Yeah,
We've got even worse. Because I don't know if De Zerbi is. I do think he's a decent. I don't think he's an amazing manager. But I thought Frank was a good manager as well, because of what he did at Brentford. So what these managers have done previously, I can just say to you, well, Frank did that previously. So we might as well have just kept Frank, and we didn't. So do I? So all I've got to go on is, do I believe this manager bounce thing is going to happen? Because I honestly think this is what the board have done. Manager bounce, manager bounce, manager bounce, and that's all they care about. They don't care about next season. I said this to you before. They might end up sacking De Zerbi in the summer. All they care about is that we don't get relegated. And I understand short-termism. I do understand the short-termism. I think we just about stay up. I think we get I think we get 17th. I just don't know if it's West Ham or Forest who finishes below us. I think we just about stay up by 2 points max. I don't know. I think it might be West Ham. Sorry, Tony. I think it might be West Ham who finishes just 2 points below us. But I think had we beaten Forest, Dermo, I'd be feeling differently. But we didn't. We lost that crucial game. We've already lost the game I considered crucial. We've already lost it. So I think I'm gonna go West Ham, but it's by such a small amount. The tiniest of margins, Dermo.
Tony, where you going with it, bud?
Like I said, I think Burnley will be bottom. Wolves will be above them. I think you're both right in some respects. It's probably going to be. How we doing? Happy, good to see you as well. Thank you, Stephanie. I think it's going to be quite tight, and Frog's got a good point there. I'll come back to that one as well. I think for if you don't get anything out of the Sunderland game and possibly the next game, then it favours us in that respects. The fact, like I said, Gia, depends. Forest, I think, have got more than what Leeds are offer, but I think it's more Leeds. I think will also. I think that they can't improve, considering they won this cup game. If they can't improve on their league form, there's a chance they could possibly get sucked in if our clubs both start to kind of gain some points, because I think then the pressure's on them at that point. So don't discount that side of things. How it ends up for that third place, I think it comes down to that. So if you don't get points in the next couple of games, then I think unfortunately it'll be very strange to see it. Is Spurs for the first time being relegated? Oh, you're mute, Dermot.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sort of. I don't want to agree, but I probably do. Look, my bottom three would be probably best scenario: Burnley at the bottom, Wolves, and then Forest. That would mean by bottom three. I would love to see that, but you're right. If we get to Leeds and we've only picked up a maximum of say 3 points or 4 points in the first sort of 4 games, and we get to Leeds and we lose that, and we need in a win at Chelsea or Everton, the 4 points to save from the last 2 games, then yeah, I think you're right. For the first time in 49 years, Spurs will be relegated. It's all about mentality for me. It's all about having the fight. It's all about mentality. It's all about who's got the bigger balls, basically. Who can take the pressure? In any sport, it's about giving and taking pressure. It's about if you can keep being hit and keep moving forward, like Rocky would say. And I just think where I don't want my club to get relegated. Of course I don't. I want us to stay up. And I say that all night long. But I cannot go against what I'm seeing in front of me, which is we're playing absolutely horrible. And West Ham have momentum. Forest have a little bit of momentum by beating us. And so do Leeds have a bit of momentum after beating you guys. So out of all the 3, we're the weakest. We should go down. And do we deserve it? Yeah, these owners deserve to go down.
I was going to ask you that, Dermo. Who do you think?
We don't deserve to go down as fans, but the owners deserve it because of what they've done to our football club for a while.
But do we deserve it more than Forest or West Ham? Or we can add Leeds into that if you want. Do we deserve it more than those other 3 teams? I mean, I know Tony can probably answer for West Ham, but what do we feel overall? Those 4 teams, right? Do we deserve it more than those 3 teams? By how have we been more mismanaged than the other 3 teams? Forest is the one that sticks out for me because that's been insane what Forest have done this year. This year, similar to Spurs, insanity has taken place at that club as well. So, but Tony, West Ham, do you think you deserve to be relegated more than Spurs or Forest, who are the 2 which stand out for me?
Well, you've made a valid point there, because you just reminded me of something that there was a stat that came up a month or so ago, and it was showing you that where we've kind of taken leads in games, we've managed to throw away 20 points. So if we'd put them behind us, then it would be no worry. We wouldn't have, we wouldn't be, I wouldn't be on this show tonight, because we'll be safe as anything. But the problem is, it's Nuno that's undone some of our games. And the chat already know my view on this particular game. The Bournemouth game for me is the one that sticks in my head, and it pains me. Like, being 2-0 up in that game, Callum Wilson having the time of his life, 2 quality goals, and then before you know it, he gets hooked off 56 minutes, and we go defensive for the remainder of that.
Yeah.
And the second half stats didn't lie. 2 shots compared to their 25. No wonder they got back into it to draw 2-2. So it's them kind of things where, yes, we deserve that. And Happy Emirates have just, gone back up to on the chat. She says here, about going down, maybe the best thing for us at this point.
Yeah.
We need to sell the players either way. So why go through this all again next season in the Prem? And this is going to be the problem for us, Tequila. If we've already had the ball turn and say we're 104, if it was 105 million in debt, and we need to sell players. That's the first thing out of their mouth. So straight away, if it's going to be Nuno or anyone else coming in, you've got to deal with that first of all. And you're going to go basically come the summer season with a begging bowl. Please, sir, can I have some more money so I can buy another player? And this board at the moment are basically saying that we've got nothing in the pot. But then they conned us in like, again, this is where they conned us in January, when we've got no money, and then suddenly out of nowhere they found £47 million and bought Pablo and Tay.
It sounds like then, Tony, from what you're saying then, is that Leeds are probably the best managed of these 4 teams.
Yeah, and which is quite interesting, Tequila, considering they were going to sack Farker the season before.
Yeah. So that really does say a lot. So maybe that's why we all think Leeds are probably going to be safe, because they seem the less in turmoil. Well, you got Forest. We know the season they've had in turmoil. You look at Spurs. I think actually West Ham, from an outsider point of view, you seem less in turmoil than Forest or Spurs, but that's from an outsider's point of view. Out of the 3 of us, I think you've got your shit together more, and you probably would disagree with this, but like I say, as an outsider looking in, you seem like you've got your shit together more than Forest or Spurs do, but that's an outsider's view.
Yeah. That's only from this January transfer window. We got Paco coming in as his number 2. That's also made a big difference as well. And then just buying them couple of players, it's given a lift, and we've seen a difference. And he also changed the formation. So it's them kind of things that he's done, which has kind of given us the momentum to kind of put us back into the pack and put the clubs above us under a little bit of pressure. And that's why when you look at it, you said, like with Forest getting rid of their managers, and then kind of now got Victor Pereira in there, and Vitor Pereira, should I say, and he seems to kind of found a little bit of a niche with them. He's doing all right at the moment, with them. Daniel Farker and that, when you look at it like that, he does exactly what it says on the tin, and he's got Leeds playing in a certain way, and it seems to be working for him at this stage. You've gone for that phase where you've got rid of your managers with Ange, obviously, with Frank, and obviously now you've got De Zerbi in there. Is it third time lucky for you guys? And it could be third time lucky for De Zerbi, considering how it went with Brighton, how it's gone with Marseille, and to now coming to you guys.
It's important we get off to a good start on Sunday, but I don't know. It's going to be one hell of a ride to the end of the season. All I'm going to say, may the best team win. It will be us. We will stay up. I think out of the 4, I think Forest are the one that might just implode the most. I think West Ham of us have got enough about us to stay in.
Yeah, but you say that, Dermo, but they smashed us, mate.
Yeah,
Twice.
well, anyone can beat us at home. Yeah, I'm. Look, it doesn't matter. That Forest game is gone. We lost it. It starts now. It's a 7-game season.
Yeah,
but
we said
this weekend.
I know, but we said before that how crucial that game is, and we both said
I think every game between now and the end of the season is going to be crucial. But for me, it's a 7-game season now. We've had the break. We come back to the Premier League. It's a 7-game shootout, and it's about teams handling the pressure, getting it right, and especially with us with the new manager, about the players coming finally showing some grit and determination to get us out of the shit show we're in. And I suppose from your point of view, Tony, it's about Nuno keeping doing what he's doing well and not making the mistakes. Look, whatever happens, if we do go down, I think this formally lies at the board, and I think West Ham would be the same as well. With your fans, it's the board's. This is what not investing into your football club. And you said it, Tony, about buying a player in January and giving the players a bit of a lift. We didn't do that because our genius of a director of football thought we got injured players coming back. We don't need to buy anyone. We sold a left winger but bought a centre midfield. I mean, I don't know who's the genius behind that move. That was just, I don't know what they were smoking in the boardroom that night. It definitely wasn't cigarettes, or what they were drinking. But I just look. It's going to be It's going to be stressful. It's going to be ups and downs. I think there's more twists and turns in this thing yet. And also, the Man City thing still hasn't come out. Now, that might come out before the end of the season. Might come out for next season. But look, whatever happens, I think the next 7 games is going to be a lot of anger, a lot of tears, a lot of cheers. And maybe by the 24th of May, this channel and your channel, Tony, can go, thank God for that.
100%.
Goodbye 25-26 season. Let's roll on. But thank you, guys. That is it. We've come to no conclusion. We both think we're going to stay up, but we're still as shit. Tottenham are still as shit as they were. West Ham probably not much better, but we're all hoping Forest go down. So Nottingham Forest, if you're watching, we want you relegated. Tequila, where can people find you, bud?
You can find me on here with Dermo when I can, and you can find me on the Play Pouch gaming channel and the No Cell wrestling channel. I'll put the links in if anyone wants to sub. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, put your links in there, Tequila, and then put your link in as well. But Tony, where can people find you, bud? And I will be on this Sunday, by the way. I will come on this Sunday. Send me a link.
Good, man. Good. So yeah, I mean, you can find me on Habits Football TV. Unfortunately, I can't do the watch along tomorrow because I will be working on nights. So a bit of a shame because I'd love to have got that game done as well. As you can see, we've got some great people in my chat and the community. It's going to be a very, very tight 7 games I think for our respective clubs. Thanks, Harry. He's got cheers, gents. Please tone no more sputter chat.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's going to be very tight for our clubs. Yeah. The main thing is, if you look at it, we're more suited to it and used to it, whereas you guys, this is unknown territory, and it's how you handle that. I think that's going to be probably the hardest part to deal with for you guys.
It is. Please do get over it. It's a great channel. It's probably the only West Ham channel I do watch. I must admit that, and I do enjoy his content. I've been on there a few times. It's a great bunch of lads over there, and you do have a really good, friendly chat as well, Tony. So big up to a bit like us here. We have a very good family. But guys, yes. Now, to West Ham fans watching on Tony's channel, I know Tony ain't doing a watch along, but I'm doing a hate along tomorrow. So if you want to come and banter me during the watch along, I am doing West Ham Wolves tomorrow night. Better off my judgment. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I am. I just thought I'd just go and have a bit of banter. So guys, do come over, do join me. 7:30 we're starting. It's a bit of fun. Lots of banter, lots of fun. I will be becoming a Wolves fan tomorrow night for the first time in my entire life. So come on, you Wolves. Get them 3 points against them West Hams. But do join me tomorrow at 7:30. Irish Lads Talk Spurs podcast is back tomorrow at 2. Join me, Dave, and Jess from JYS Football. Do join me as we talk, as we get our thoughts on the Leeds running, and me and Dave are going to talk all things Spurs. Tomorrow at 5, there is a show at 5 for after the presser. We're going to go over De Zerbi's first press conference, and we're going to look at that. It's a new show that's coming out, so we're going to see how that goes. And of course, join me at 7:30. Is it an 8 o'clock kick-off tomorrow night time?
Yeah, it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Yeah.
Well, then join me at 7:15. Then not 7:30, 7:15, as I do West Ham versus Wolves. Yeah, as Carl says, he's actually gone in. He's gone into your chat, and he's gone, "Hey, along with Dermo, there doesn't even need to be match. Doesn't need to be a match." Yeah, if you want to see, Saki Dermo, he will be enforced tomorrow. Tequila, explain to West Ham fans what Saki Dermo's like, because you like him. I know that.
Normally, he appears after half time because Dermo normally goes in with optimism, and then once he sees Spurs play, you can feel the optimism dripping from him pore by pore. As each minute goes by, he gets more and more sarcastic. And then normally we're losing by half time, he'll come on in the second half and Saki Dermo is in full force. And he'll just spend the second half of the game just completely ripping it and being sarcastic. And that's when he's his most entertaining. That's my opinion, of course. So big up Saki Dermo. I look forward to seeing him tomorrow night. Go join him.
So I'm thinking of going and buying some bubbles tomorrow night and start the show blowing bubbles. I'm toying with the idea.
Brilliant. Happy Emirate, I agree with you. As she's put there, within 24 hours, we'll either be buzzing or he'll be depressed.
Yeah.
My days.
Well, I'm happy Hammer. I Tony knows me. I do actually. I quite like West Ham. Been to Upton Park many times over the years. Do you know what? I always got on well with the EastEnders. Worked down there as well. Worked down in what do you call it? Near the Thames. So I know a lot of people down that neck of the woods, and been to Upton Park, and I was always treated all right by West Ham fans down there. Always was. Though there was a lot we're not liked, both sets of fans, but I've never had any issues with West Ham fans. So do join me. If you like a bit of banter, if you like a bit of fun, join me for that. It's going to be fun. 7:45 tomorrow night. And big up to you, Harry, as well. It's a cheers, Tone, Dermot, Tequila. Much love. Chat, love you. Big up to you, Harry. Great in there. Big up to Tom as well. Big up to Daz. But guys, that is it. I think we can all agree Nottingham Forest are going down. West Ham, Tottenham, we're going to stay in the Premier League. That is for sure. All we're going to say is, come on, you Spurs, and the massive cockle we trust. Tequila, do you want to take us out, bud?
The players.
Good
night.